Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lisa Elvin Steltari, and I'm a genealogist and a passionate traveler. For the last few years, I've been featuring each fille du roi or king's daughter and getting to know their stories a little bit better. We're on episode 228 today. We have come so far, but there's in total 700 of these stories. So we've come a long way, we've got a long way to go. But before we begin, let me show you ways you can support the channel. The first three keep you in the know. Subscribe, like, and notify. All that helps with the logarithms and all that good stuff, gets my name out. And then we have the ways that the channel itself can grow by contributing financially. We have Coffee and Patreon, which are standalone platforms. You can donate from $1 to 25. And then there's also on my website, Have Roots Will Travel, you can go and donate to PayPal. So there are many ways to help the channel. Thank you to all of you who have done so far. Really appreciate you, and I cherish each and every one of you. So we are on episode 228. Her name, Catherine Verrier, and she was a viewer request. And then I looked in my files, and my best friend, this is one of her great-grandmothers. And then the husband of another dear friend who has French-Canadian roots, this is also one of his great-grandmothers. Let's get to know Catherine a little bit better. So she was born in 1646 in Courtel, France. Her parents were Jean Verrier and Agnes Briquet. And she is part of the Normandy region, and her département, or county, is Manche. As you can tell from the pictures, the church in the top right here is the city hall, very historic looking. The middle is the church at Courtil, which dates from the 12th century. This is a little sign when you enter Courtil, which is a very small place. And just very rural, very picturesque. Beautiful little town. Death, Catherine would come to New France as a fille du roi. She would embark on Le Jean Baptiste. She arrived here June 30th, 1669. She carried with her a dowry of about 200 pounds. The groom that she would select and who would select her, his name was Pierre Rondeau, and he was born in 1642 in Marseilles, France. His parents were Jean Rondeau and Sarah Comtois. As you can see by the map of France, he was part of the region of Nouvelle-Aquitaine. And inside of Nouvelle-Aquitaine, we have the département of Charente-Maritime. So he's really close to the sea. There are about 3,200 people that live in this area, so it's kind of like a suburb of La Rochelle, but it's its own little town, commune. Now that church of Saint Pierre, that's what it's called, Saint Pierre, dates from the 14th century. So really, really interesting, and kind of like a fortress, very, very interesting architecture. So what we know of Pierre is he came to New France in 1663 and was confirmed in 1664 at Quebec City. So Pierre was long established by the time he married. He would have had time to build, land or a house ready for taking on a bride, which she did September 29, 1669. And they were married at Sainte-Famille on the island of Orleans, Ile d'Orléans, and that is their marriage record. So the family would settle on Ile d'Orléans. Let's talk a little bit about it. I haven't been doing Ile d'Orléans in a while, so those of you who've been with me all these videos know that we keep coming back here. I've added a few pictures that I've actually taken myself this summer. So Ile d'Orléans is located in the St. Lawrence River. It's about 3 miles as the crow flies. It was one of the first parts of the province to be colonized by the French, and a large percentage of French Canadians can trace their ancestry to some of the early residents of this island. The island has been described as a microcosm of traditional Quebec and as the birthplace of Francophones in North America. Now, it wasn't always known as Ile d'Orléans. It was known at different times as Grande Ile, Sainte-Marie, Saint-Laurent. So I say that to you so that you know when you're researching, if you come across these names and you this isn't Ile d'Orléans, that's why. It was actually changed to honor the second son of King Francis, who happened to be the Duke of Orleans, and that's how it came to be. Um, Originally, in 1661, the very first parish of Saint-Denis, which is the one pictured here, was founded, followed by another 4 parishes in 1679 and 1680. And by 1685, there are about 1,200 people living here. I want to draw your attention to the map in the middle here. I want to make sure that you note that these are 6 distinct places with their own churches, their own cemeteries. It's very important that you understand that the island itself is like a little tiny country with provinces or states, you know. So we have Saint Petronille, we have Saint Pierre, Saint Laurent, Saint Famille, of course, the biggest and the oldest, Saint Jean and Saint Francois on the tip of the island there. It is certainly something to see. It is an incredible place. There's no words to describe to you how beautiful it is and how small and how big all at the same time. It's just, and crossing that bridge and seeing it, it's just a once in a lifetime experience. The next time I do it, I'll know. But this was more like, oh my gosh, here I am, you know. So definitely, definitely, Ile d'Orléans, place to see when you are visiting Quebec. They would go on to have 5 children. Françoise would marry Jean Deneau and have 8 children, 6 of whom would make it. Elizabeth would marry Simon Chamberlain, and she would have 4 children, 2 of whom would make it. Simon's mother was Marie Boileau, who we profiled in episode 117. Then we have Marie, who married his brother, Ignace Chamberlain. They had 10 children, 9 of whom made it. Pierre married Marianne Juin and had 1 child before his early death at 24. Catherine would marry Jean Mimot and have 6 children, all of whom would make it. Now we have the 1681 census. We have Pierre Rondeau, we have Catherine Verrier. We have their children, Françoise, Elisabeth, Marie, Pierre. They have 1 gun. They have 6 goats and 18 arpents, about 15 acres of land. They're doing very well. And then tragedy hits. Catherine would die sometime between October 1682 and August 1683. There is no burial record. The last record we would have of her is the birth of her daughter, Catherine. It is extremely likely that she died in childbirth or from complications thereof. Pierre would remarry in August of 1683, or would take out a license, if you will. And that's how we know that she had passed. And so the story continues. Pierre would go on in 1683 to marry Marie Ancelet, who was a very young, about 14 years of age, who gave him 4 more children. Etienne would marry Louise Moreau and have 9 children, 6 of whom would make it. Marthe, who died in infancy. Jean would marry Madeleine Gignard and have 2 children, 1 of whom survived. He would then marry Marie-Joseph Balajon and have 10 children, 6 of whom would make it. Joseph would marry Marie Passereau and have 9 children, 8 of whom would make it. And Pierre himself would pass away by between 1690 and 1692. We do not have a death record for him as well. But what we do have is a memorial. Just a moment, and I will show it to you. And here we have, this was actually taken by me. This picture is just amazing. Pierre Rondeau and Catherine Verrier are listed in there on that memorial on the island as the pioneers. So they are not forgotten, even though they died way too early. You know, they kept going, and just amazing, strong people. But I'm so glad they are on that memorial. Here are some of my favorite resources. We have La Société des Filles du Roi. We have Quebec Genealogical E-Society, Nos Origines. We have Wikitree, Filles du Roi Descendants, Généalogie Québec, and Société d'Histoire des Filles du Roi. I've listed all of the addresses for you to have a look and see which one or all of them can help you in your research. So even though their lives were cut short, they would leave 62 descendants as of 1729. So they left their mark, and look at that beautiful memorial that they are on. They came and they gave what they could. And we are so blessed that they were able to sustain as long as they could And these were hard times for women and men. And living as they did on the island, they were trying to make a life for themselves. And they did make a life for their children and their children's children. And so my viewer and my friends can all lay claim to the fact that despite their sacrifice meant that they, my friends and the viewer, can now exist. So that is a beautiful testament to their contribution. So we bless their memory, and we are grateful that our fille du roi, Catherine Verrier, came to our shores and gave what she could. And we are saddened that she couldn't live a longer life, but we are grateful that she lived it all. So thank you so much. And I want to say thank you to my patrons and supporters. Love each and every one of you. Thank you for your support, financial and otherwise. And all of my subscribers, thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you also to Shelby for contributing with the artwork. Love, love, love using the artwork, and you inspire me. So thank you so much. So until I see you on episode 229, au revoir.